Kuro are doing something very unexpected. Kuro, of course, are the developers behind Wuthering Waves and Punishing Gray Raven, two of the best action gacha games in the genre. Let's go ahead and find out what they're doing. Kuro Games, the developers behind Wuthering Waves and Punishing Gray Raven, two of the best action gacha games in the genre, have a new game titled Project NAMI. This is a game we have covered on numerous occasions over the course of the last year, ever since it was first revealed. Yesterday, I saw some buzz about Project NAMI, Kuro Games' new game currently in pre-production. I also happened to cross Brax's tweet mentioning this too. We know very little about it, and what we do know comes from job listings on their website that is available in Chinese. Not to blindly believe what I see online, I read through every job listing on Kuro's website and found all the ones specifically listing NAMI, and read through each to find any of interest so we can start to get an idea of what this game is going to be. Now chat, for those of you that don't know, Shiki Chat here is actually in chat. That's Istas. He is a moderator for this subreddit, and he does significantly better research on these topics than I do. So kudos to him for being an incredible part of this community. He's also a content creator friend of mine. Disclaimer, I looked through this with a machine translator. They aren't 100% accurate, but I put the effort in to try and get as much as possible. How many of you think Kuro's next game is going to be as good as Wuthering Waves? There are multiple different areas here that Istas decided to focus on. MMO, multiplayer, large maps, dungeons, ARPG, CRPG, MMO, open world, 2D and 3D, which WuWa actually does utilize, Unreal Engine 4 and 5, mobile and PC crossplay functionality. So based off of this alone, you could say that Chrono Odyssey is probably not going to be the next big MMO, but you know what might be? This right here, chat, might be the next big gacha, or the next big MMO, or the next big MMO gacha. This right here, I mean this genuinely, this might be the Tower of Fantasy that Tower of Fantasy wanted to be. I'm not gonna say the Tower of Fantasy killer, because that ship sailed the week it launched. When Tower of Fantasy released to the public, and they had time-gated mechanics, exploration mechanics, rewards, story, people quit. They were like, nope, they pieced out. 90% of the player base left. Two jobs stood out to me, and it's the main cause of the buzz around the game that caught my attention. Both of them list MMO in English. This doesn't 100% confirm that it will be an MMO, but it will definitely contain multiplayer elements. Here are the two. All right, so here are the two job descriptions. NAMI Test Engineer and NAMI Level Planner. They both list MMOs. I do see that. MMO copy content, design the MMO, follow up with the implementation of gameplay objects. I mean, that sounds great to me. What else we got here? Experience in open world MMO projects. Sick, great. This job lists a few interesting things. The development has in mind a large map with multiplayer functionality, and dungeons also look to be a feature that they're planning to include. That also sounds great. Large maps, multiplayer functionality, massively multiplayer. This listing directly mentions they're looking for people with 3D action RPG experience. Kuro Games specialize in that. They really do. Like, there are people that think Punishing Gray Raven is better combat than WuWa. WuWa is better combat than Punishing Gray Raven. But one thing both sides agree on is that Kuro's combat is the best. There's no contest. They're slowly becoming the biggest gacha developer in the market. Yeah, with the improvements I've been making for Wuthering Waves and the success the 2.x series of updates have had, yep, they are fast becoming one of the, if not, what, like they're top 3 right now, pushing in on maybe top 2. Actually, both Punishing Gray Raven and Wuthering Waves are games of the genre, and players love the combat in them. It is Kuro's bread and butter, and they know what works. They really do. This is more of a reinforcing other things I've already covered. In the job requirements, they're looking for people with experience in these fields. CRPG was unexpected, but could be interesting depending on what they want to use that sort of thing for. It also mentions open world, which leads me to believe that it's going to be an open world MMO with action RPG combat, and we may see CRPG mechanics, perhaps like the dice roll system of Baldur's Gate 3, but that's entirely speculation from me. Wait, but that is what they're doing in Rewinding Cadence. Dude, they're already taking ideas from other gacha games and they're implementing them all. Oh, that sounds exciting. Sick. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. 2D and 3D elements. NAMI will contain both 2D and 3D elements. Kuro does this in both One Punishing Graven in-game and out-of-game through promo materials, so it's a continuing trend. 2D monsters and character designs is listed, while the 3D lists scene editing and character modeling. Cool. Several of the previous links have mentioned the Unreal Engine, and these ones look specifically for Unreal developers, primarily with experience in Unreal Engine 4, but one listing is looking for Unreal Engine 5 too. It's mostly likely this game will be developed and run on Unreal Engine 4, just like Wuthering Waves. There's a possibility of them moving development to Unreal Engine 5 with the last listing, but it seems unlikely. Yep, that is fine. Wuthering Waves uses like I think it's like a 4 point something, right? Like in between 4 and 5. Mobile and PC. This listing is purely about mobile tool development, leading me to believe that they will be producing a mobile client for the game so you can run it on that as well as PC. I'm hoping console as well. A PC version is a given considering all we've gone through already, especially if it's going to be an MMO. This is everything I found that I felt was relevant. I'm going to link every job listing in the comments for anyone curious enough to look through them. Just be aware that Kuro is a Chinese company. All of these are in Chinese, and you don't have a chance of working for them if you can't speak the language, you don't like or don't live there, and you aren't qualified. So don't go flooding their system with pointless applications and making trouble for them. Let's look forward to having more about the game when they are finally ready to show us it themselves. This was an immaculate write-up. But then Istas did say he was an author, so it makes sense why this was condensed in the way it was and written up so professionally. But this is sick, dude. A Kuro Wuthering Waves open world MMO. So Hoyo are making the Animal Crossing game, and Kuro are making an open world MMO potentially. I'm glad they're diverging here in different directions, and instead of making a turn-based game like Honkai Star Rail, they're instead opting to go for a route that they can completely dominate. Let's be honest, there is going to be no competition that can rival Kuro if they decide to make an MMO, an anime MMO specifically. Once they place in hirings for translations, localizations, we'll get the full meat of Project NAMI. Yeah, and dude, I can't wait. Holy crap. Riot's MMO? Well, the thing is, Riot has repeatedly canceled, shifted, redone their MMO. Like they haven't even really started with the frequency with which they have completely shifted direction. I think it could be really good, but I don't have a lot of faith at the same time. Companies are focusing on their main strengths. Genshin proved that Hoyo likes focusing on characters while Kuro likes focusing on action. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, I agree. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.